listeners. Welcome to Idio Talk, a Radiohead podcast. I am Walker Glenn.
And I am Zach Glenn.
It's wonderful to be back. You know, Zach, I don't know if you know this, but many people were saying that we would not come back after last week. Have you seen this scuttlebutt? A lot of haters and doubters out there.
Yeah. Well, and as we alluded to way back in our first episode, Radiohead Origins, listeners, check it out. I had alluded to that there had been quite a few Radiohead podcasts, not going to throw them out by name or anything, but that you could tell got some momentum about 3 episodes in, and then we're kind of like, this is a lot of work. Let's not do this. I think people thought we might have gone the way that direction as well.
Exactly. I think people were like, okay, surely they're going to quit talking about Radiohead after they've done In Rainbows.
Yeah.
Even though they're so close to the end of their discography.
I heard doubters actually that we would come back even from holiday break. They're like, In Rainbows is sort of a throwaway. They're not going to worry about that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was the first hurdle we had to jump over.
Right.
It's like, we did return on the date we said we would return.
Yeah.
We were not late.
Really proud of us.
Yeah, exactly. We let our yes be yes and our no be no on this podcast hold over from our Christian upbringing.
What is that from?
I don't know. I think it's from the Bible.
Yeah, it's from the Bible.
Let your yes be yes, let your no be no.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is in the Bible, but I bet it's in there.
Yeah.
It's probably right there between Jesus wept and you should forgive your brother when he trespasses against you 70 times 7 times.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's interesting that, okay, so that story, for those who don't know their basic instructions before leaving Earth, as well as we do, which, by the way, that's an acronym, listeners. You figure out what it stands for. Is it Peter who's like, hey, Jesus, how many times should I forgive my brother if he trespasses against me? Maybe 7 times?
Yeah.
Right? And Jesus is like, no, bitch.
I've had to forgive you quite a few more times.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I don't know if you know what's going to happen coming up between us, but I do. Yeah. And buddy, let me tell you, things are going to be awkward between us when my ass rises from the dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jesus says 70 times 7.
Yeah.
Now, doing some quick math, I think that's 490 times. That's pretty good. That is really good. Like I don't think I've ever forgiven anybody 490 times.
No. What about collectively? I've forgiven, I would say, on the road dealing with traffic, probably 4,900 times.
Oh, I'm sure that collectively over a lifetime, but I can't think of a single individual. Well, certainly the person that I have spent the most time with in my life collectively at this point is probably you.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have sinned against me 490 times.
No, ditto to you as well.
Thank you. And I have to say, I think that if either of us had, as much as we love each other and relationships with family go through their ebbs and flows, ups and downs, you have to show each other grace at different times.
Certainly. I
don't know that we would survive. Like, wow, Walker has fucked me over 490 times. But hey, JC said what he said, and that's what it's got to be, right? Yeah. But here's the point I'm trying to make. I think it's interesting that there still is a finite amount of times.
That has always stuck out to me as well, too. Like, Jesus is like, okay, 489.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's off to hell with you, my friend.
Yeah. Jesus, I didn't brush my teeth today. Oh, well, that's goodbye.
That's the other thing too. Is it's like what qualifies as forgiveness,
right?
Is like if like because maybe we have forgiven each other 490 times if it includes like we're doing the podcast and you're about to say something and I jump in prematurely and then I have to go, oh, I'm sorry, and you go, hey, it's okay. Is that one of the 490 times?
Yeah, I would say we've reached our limit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If interruptions are included, then everybody in my life is more forgiving than Jesus himself. Anyway, this has been a good episode. Thanks for tuning in, listeners.
I was like, what are we going to do from here?
No, I don't know. Zach, what have you been up to since the last week that we spoke? We should note, Zach and I now exclusively speak on this podcast.
Yeah.
I've been here for a couple hours in your house at this point, and Zach tried to talk to me a couple times, and I just put up a finger. It was like the "don't make me tap the sign" treatment in that Simpsons episode. Do not talk to the podcaster. What have you been up to?
I haven't been up to too much. We talked about, resolutions and things like that when we covered off the first parts of In Rainbows. And we alluded to several times that there would be more to cover in a disc 2. Don't worry, folks. We're going to get to it. So I've really been just focusing my time and energy on disc 2.
Okay, gotcha. So you've been listening to disc 2 a lot, which I guess it's no mystery, listeners, if you looked at the title of this episode. That's what we're here to discuss, the B-sides, alternates, some live versions from the In Rainbows era.
Yes.
And an era that has B-sides that many consider to be as good as tracks that made the album.
Yes.
Not saying that that's necessarily what we think.
No, not necessarily. But I do think what's cool about In Rainbows Disc 2, which is what its formal title is. Am I correct?
Yep. Disc with a K.
Yes, Disc with a K. Is like in Hail to the Thief and like in OK Computer, there are like B-sides that, the band put out, like in the OK Not OK for OK Computer. I think that was released in 2017, so 20-year anniversary. I'm sure a lot of diehard Radiohead fans had heard cuts of those tracks before, but with this, this is like a definitive disc 2 that I think I believe it was released in 2009, so a good 2 years after In Rainbows had time to settle in. A lot of people had named it their favorite Radiohead album, both in the fanship community and major news media publications, but. These are songs that are completed and mastered in the studio. You can hear a little bit more of like maybe
some feel more finished than others.
Exactly, but I think though that like this, it was really fun talking about those Hail of the Thief B-sides. I Am a Wicked Child and like a different cut of I Will. These are like new songs, new songs in the context of, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So. And as you alluded to, some of these are songs I hold in very high esteem. I may have, like, several episodes back, mentioned them in name. But yeah, quite possibly a couple of them are so good I would consider maybe resequencing the album. But I don't want to get too far ahead.
You know what, man? I'm glad that you have been listening to Disc 2 a lot in preparation for this. I got to be honest, this is the first this is the first collection of songs that we're covering on the podcast that as we go through them today, it'll be the first time in a while that I have listened to them.
Oh, okay.
So listeners will be getting a more some call it poorly prepared, I call it organic take on these songs. Because to be honest, lately, man, I have been just kind of really branching out in my musical taste and haven't even been listening to a lot of Radiohead lately. I've been listening to like really different stuff.
Yeah, such as? Tell me.
I've been listening to The Smile a lot. And it's just been really great. Zach is wearing a T-shirt of The Smile. It's been really great to listen to something that is just completely outside of the Radiohead canon.
Yes.
And, it doesn't feel, as much as I love this podcast, it doesn't feel like I'm taking my work home with me.
Right.
When I pop on this completely different band.
Yes, totally.
So that's been fun.
Are you being humorous?
I was attempting it. It was a bit. I
loved it.
I think some people might have heard the wind up about a full minute ago. I'm actually just going to say, listeners, that we mentioned it when it was upcoming, but Zach and I are both in a post having seen the Smile live tour. Post having seen the Smile live state.
Yeah.
And
haze, if you will.
A haze, a beautiful haze, hazed and confused. And we will be covering that concert in exhaustive detail, and it's going to be a really fun roundup when we get to that. That's all I'll say about it for now, but is there anything you want to say to wet the beaks of the listeners about the upcoming
I
Smile
can't
content?
because I just won't be able to stop myself. Let's just say it was a glorious experience.
It was awesome. They're awesome. I can't wait to talk about it. Their U.S. tour has concluded.
Yeah, we got the very end of it.
We got the second to last date, I think. And I won't say anything more about it. I'm very relieved. None of us in attendance got COVID, and nobody in the band got COVID, which I was thinking. I was like,
dude, I need
we're getting into winter, and I was like, I hope nobody catches COVID on the road, not only for their own health, but selfishly because I really want to go to this fucking concert.
Yes. Well, and when I was there, masks were not required. I think they were recommended. Your lovely girlfriend chose to wear a mask, and there was a few other folks that did.
And we ostracized her for that.
Yes. Yeah. No, I got one beer before the show, and $18 later, I was like, okay, that was my one beer. And I just got really thirsty, and there was a drinking fountain, downstairs by the bathroom, and I was like, I am dying of thirst. And as I was pressing the button, bending my face down, I go, I don't give a shit if I get COVID.
That's thirsty.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm here. I'm going to enjoy the show. I need water.
Yes.
And that's about it.
If I have COVID, I'll deal with it then. Yeah. It probably will not metastasize over the course
that's
of the
future Zach's problem.
Yeah.
No, but real quickly, talking about branching out, and I don't know how interesting this will be for the listeners, but it came up in our In Rainbows Part 1, because this is now Part 3 of our In Rainbows coverage, when we were talking about the glorious, the amazing human being that is Nigel Godrich, or producer at least. We mentioned quickly in passing that folks like Nigel, like George Martin, and I'm sure there are many, many others, can pick up the instruments and get their hands dirty. Even Bob Rock, Metallica's famous producer that Metallica fans despise. He's a really solid bass player. I have been on an independent journey that is really in the form of a question of, is Rick Rubin a good producer? Because he is... I don't know. We can all be a little stuck up and pompous at times. I find his vibe to be really annoying.
Yeah, me too.
And
have you heard his WTF?
Yes, that
was one of the most. He is so willfully obtuse.
And like
so
kind of a
irritating.
jerk to Mark for no reason. Like Mark would make like a very like softball, but like kind of Mark knows how to play instruments too. And I hate when people do this in conversation. It's fine to be a straight shooter, but when you go, oh yeah, is it kind of like that? And they go, no, no, not at all. And it's like, oh, and maybe whatever. Not always, but he kept
June
doing
gloom,
that.
huh?
What?
June gloom, huh?
No.
Nah.
Anyways, so I don't know, but I have been doing a exploratory project because his catalog is so vast. Tons of different genres and styles of music, which I really admire. And so I've been exploring almost his entire discography of albums he has produced with this idea of, is Rick Rubin a good producer? Because a lot of the artists that worked with him once and did not enjoy it, I believe that is their greatest record. So obviously Chili Peppers, we've talked about on this podcast. Walker is not a fan. I agree with
their Rubin record though?
All of them. From One Hot Minute or from Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic to present, except for One Hot Minute.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and so they love working with him, but he's worked with Paul McCartney. He has worked with
collaboration with Johnny Cash is very famous.
Yeah, yes,
because it kind of precipitated
his comeback.
Johnny Cash's
before
big
he passed
comeback,
away,
and all the covers and stuff. I love those records.
Oh my god, it's amazing. Then bands that are totally outside the Radiohead realm, but I think it's good for listeners to know that I like to listen to other kind of stuff too. But there's a Slipknot album I love. Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses.
Yeah.
And they hated working with Rick Rubin. And Slipknot, actually, to my surprise, remain huge and incredibly successful. So as much as they feel like a moment in time, they're not. But I do believe that's my favorite of their albums. And then a band that has come up many, many times of late, the Mars Volta, their debut album, D-Louse in the Comatorium, was produced by Rick Rubin, and along with Slipknot, they hated working with him, and I believe that to be... I like other albums in their discography a lot. I don't want to keep going on and on.
That to me has the rare status, though, of perfect record.
Yes, exactly.
And it's for what it is trying to execute,
Yes.
it does it flawlessly.
Yeah, so it's just kind of fun to go through a producer's discography, especially since listeners might have noticed like a lot of the music I hone in on is like sad white guy music.
But I'm curious though, what else has, because I had no idea that he was a long-term collaborator with the
Jay-Z.
He's produced a Jay-Z record?
He's produced a Jay-Z record.
Oh yeah,
the Black Album.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that album, now I could be wrong here because you've researched this more. I'm sorry. I might be wrong.
Right.
I know that he produced 99 Problems, and that's a bit Rick Rubin throwback style Def Jam beat.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that album, it's like different producers on every track?
I think so.
Some of it's Kanye, and
I think
some of it's the
worked,
Neptunes, and
I think he's worked with Jay-Z on a complete album.
Okay.
Though. I mean, we could probably pull it up, but I know that he has worked across many, many genres. And, I just think that sometimes for somebody like myself, who I think maybe a lot of folks like get stuck with this, like, I know I like other genres and styles of music, right?
Yeah.
And Radiohead are proof positive of that because they play around a lot. But sometimes I just need like a project to push me towards variety in film and music and all that. And so it's been really fun.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What are the facts kind of bearing out to be in terms of this question?
I think he's an incredible producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems somewhat inarguable based just off of the resume that you're listing off. But has anyone snitched about why they fucking hate working with this guy?
Just Slipknot and Mars Volta seem to have the same issue. But what I think is incredible is, particularly with the Mars Volta, I hear what their issue was is they said that it's sort of like, oh yeah, Steven Spielberg was a producer on this film. He was on set a single fucking day.
Right.
That's kind of their take. And over the years, they've softened up a little bit, and they're like, really what it was is we thought we were hot shit, and we were, but he would come in and say, no, that's not good, and you need to fix it, and then would bounce. And, that album's almost 20 years old, but like, I think more what it is that Omar in particular, the guitar player, has said is he said, we had too many things going on. And in that album, listeners, please go listen to it. There are parts of songs that are just long, kind of these atmospheric parts of sound that I love, but he helped them condense those. And he brought in John Frusciante, the guitar player of Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Flea, who plays bass on that entire album, and was like, these guys know how to tighten up a song, and I just think it works.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't want to go too much down that path, but I just think what's interesting about the two acts that were like, yeah, Rick Rubin produced it, but we did all the work. It's like, maybe that's his style. Maybe he knows when he has men and women who know how to produce, and he's like, you guys are there, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna drop in when I can, and I'm gonna be blunt with you. I don't know, it's all just theorizing, but I think it's interesting that Omar, the leader of the band, has been like, yeah, we were young and a little harsh, and I really think that he helped us a lot, actually.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I think that I have heard that about Rick Rubin, that as his price has gone up,
that was the other thing.
that
They said
his-
he was so overpriced.
yes, and that now that he is such a name to himself and this known entity, that the rumor is that at this point his engineers are actually producing your album.
Right.
And I forget which band it was, but I've heard something about like, yeah, he produced that record over the phone.
Yeah.
And I know the Beastie Boys fell out super hard with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that had to do with more contract dispute stuff about Def Jam, because they also had nothing nice to say about Russell Simmons and everything like that. I think that he's produced some really great records, and even records of bands that he's done that are not my favorite in their catalog. I still like the approach he goes with, like that most recent Strokes record was hit and miss for me. Had some great songs.
It was a
had
Strokes
some
album. It was front loaded.
Yeah, super front loaded. That opener was one of the best songs
Killer.
they've ever done. But I love the approach of like this record is going to sound like you guys in a room playing music. I like his live approach. I like his kind of tendency to keep it simple. I also feel like I kind of get what his trick is, which is just that. His approach with every single band is to strip everything way down, which is cool, but it's a little bit like of a remember when Will Ferrell was in that Woody Allen movie and he's an actor, and throughout the movie he talks about all the different characters he played, and his thing is always that he gave them a limp.
Yes.
Like I feel like it's like that's a little bit Rick Rubin is what if for this one we stripped everything down? Like we'll do it with a limp. But the other thing that I think he does that is almost sort of a little bit of a Brian Eno thing is because he's also like Brian Eno, he's not really a musician. Brian Eno is more of a musician than him, but you know what I mean? He doesn't have like musical chops like a lot of producers do. Is he gives kind of prompts and assignments that yield interesting results. So he produced the Weezer album Make Believe. Not a great record in my opinion, but does have some great songs.
Some great songs.
And one of the great songs is
I actually quite like that record in Weezer
It's got some songs that I really, really like, but it has also I think it's very much you hear all the stuff that is all the crap that is going to take over Weezer on that album too.
Like Beverly Hills being sort of a joke song.
Beverly Hills and that song Freak Me Out, and just We Are All on Drugs, which I like the riff of. But just kind of that Weezer now at this point does like highly produced buzzword salad. Like to me, new Weezer is like as bad as like Smash Mouth.
Yeah. I would agree.
It's just the most superficial music I've ever heard being competently played by people who seem to have beyond nothing to say. Anyway, that rant over. But the song
Peace.
Oh, Haunt You Every Day.
Oh my god.
Which is a great, very soulful song. Closer.
Oh,
minor
listen
key.
to that song now.
Great fucking song. Go listen to it. If you're a fan of Weezer at their kind of tipping point before it all goes downhill. It's a really great song in my opinion. And that was one that the assignment from Rick Rubin was write a Billy Joel song.
Oh, cool.
And I love that shit. I love when people who have a very distinct sound take on a genre and then it just comes out sounding like them.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I think I've brought it up on this podcast. I don't remember why, but to me, the ultimate example is Purple Rain was Prince writing a country western song.
Yeah.
And then it sounds really distinct in Prince's catalog, but you wouldn't hear that and be like, who is this, Dwight Yoakam?
Yeah.
It's like, it's Prince.
That was on our Amnesiac Part 2 episode.
There you go. So anyway, it seems to me like he does have very notable contributions to the bands he works with, but he sounds like a very annoying guy based on the interview I heard with him on WTF.
Yeah. So Rick Rubin, Weezer, whatever the fuck else we talked about aside, let's zero in a little bit here, Walker, on In Rainbow's Disc 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to discuss this album, and I was realizing on the way up here that I think, I can't say with absolute certainty, but I think this is maybe the Radiohead music that came into my life the most recently. I think even after Moon-Shaped Pool. I was not aware of this album, and I'm pretty sure I became aware of it from you. I think you were really into the B-sides from In Rainbows, and you were like, have you heard disc 2? Yeah. So things really came full circle for us from me going, Zach, have you heard disc 1? And but I think I completely missed the existence of this. So when you turned me on to it, it was like the new Radiohead album to me.
Possibly. And listeners, I think most listeners, as we've talked about, it's probably a given that you either know us and are supportive or don't know us at all and are looking for the best Radiohead podcast on planet Earth.
Yeah. And you found it.
And you found it. So I would suspect that you're thinking, hey, I'm going to hang on with these boys, but they're probably not going to love King of Limbs and a Moon-Shaped Pool as much. Well, listeners, we don't know that either, right? Because those would be ones that are less familiar in our catalog. But what was my point there? I guess just that. My Radiohead fanship was just, they'd been my favorite band for 14 years, leading up now, including 2022. When the pandemic started and I started working from home, my Radiohead fanship went up even more because I got to sit at my desk uninterrupted and listen to music all day. And so it was about 2020 when I started listening to this album, like slotted in as much as In Rainbows. And so that would have been 3 full years ago now at this point. So I don't know if that tracks at all when I was like kind of preaching it to you, but yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you remember what led you to discover these B-sides? Was it just, hey, what else is there? And you came across it? Or?
Yeah. So there is another From a Basement session. There's quite a few, but that I believe was filmed in 2011. And they play Where I End and You Begin. They play Optimistic. Oh, man, it's so good. And they play Bangers and Mash in that session.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I remember this song. And then I kind of just reacquainted myself with it. Because like we talked about, it came out in 2009. They did not release it as a B-side. I mean, they did release it, but I think it's really cool that they gave it a full 2 years. Maybe they mastered it a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, these are songs that didn't make the cut. And I think what we'll hear, starting with the first track, which is sort of more interstitial, is that it carries over directly from videotape.
It does. And why don't we just start that? The first track on disc 2 is called MK1.
Mm-hmm.
So these are
Tom taking a shit. Can you imagine in the bathroom? He's just...
These are the backing vocals that you hear in that final section of videotape.
Mm-hmm. Really
with
nice.
It kind of sounds like a delay and looped piano. Now, what do you think MK stands for? Massive Knockers?
I don't know, honestly.
I wonder.
Well, what did MK and MK Ultra stand for?
That's a great question. I don't know if I've ever bothered to ask that. Now, listeners, some of you might be weed heads who know MK Ultra as a dope fiends. But I'm sure I think it's pretty common knowledge at this point. But okay, I'm going to pause it there. Sorry, you heard the opening notes of the next song, the first more song proper, but we want to get into that without just talking over the whole thing. Let's see what it stands for. But MK Ultra originally was the series of CIA experiments with the use of LSD as mind control.
One of the most famous participants of this experimentation was, Walker, give it to me, Whitey Bulger.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I highly if you have heard of that but don't know anything about it, just a couple quick reference points for you. Quickest, easiest way to learn all about it is the absolutely fabulous documentary Wormwood by Errol Morris. No, wait. I always mix it. Is Errol Morris the name of that documentary?
I've not seen this documentary.
Oh, it's on Netflix. It is his style is he does reenactments, which sounds corny, but he does it really, really effectively. And the documentary is about a man whose dad worked for the CIA and, big air quotes around this, jumped out of a window.
Okay.
And he's always been convinced that it was either resulting from a psychotic episode from the MK Ultra experiments or he knew too much.
Sure.
And he's had a lifelong quest to get to the bottom of it. And because it involves a lot of government secrets and intelligence agency secrets, is there necessarily a satisfying explanation for what happened? No, but all the threads that are dangling out there are extremely interesting. Really good documentary. The other book that I would recommend the books that I would recommend that I know Zach has read and I have read would be Black Mass, about Whitey Bulger.
Phenomenal film as well.
Great movie. It's not really about the MK Ultra experiments, but it is about the notorious gang leader Whitey Bulger in Boston, and just about how tied in with intelligence agencies he was, and MK Ultra is a piece of that. And finally, the book everybody's got to read. My favorite book to recommend to people is Chaos by Tom O'Neill, which is all about the counterintelligence programs in the 1960s with the Manson murders as a jumping off point. But my God, were these agencies up to some tomfoolery.
Yeah, I love to read, listeners. I'm not a speed reader, though I take my time. I read that book in 3 days. That's how much it hooked me. It's an incredible read. Can't recommend it enough.
Diagraph MK. Okay, it's a diagraph is a pair of characters used to combine a sequence of letters that does not correspond to the normal values of the two characters. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the prefix of MK means, and we'll never know.
All right. I like that.
So the first song proper on disc 2 of In Rainbows is called Down is the New Up. A very cheeky title, I would say. And let's listen to a little bit of that. Love that it starts with an
Take note of the listeners, because just take note of it.
Should we hear the again?
Yeah, can we do it again?
There we go. And I turned that up so everyone could hear it nice and loud.
Very kind of creepy, ominous.
All I hear is drums and piano. I don't hear a bass.
No.
I don't hear a guitar.
When I hear Tommy Tom. Really, really fun chord progression. It's always hard with piano to say chord progression because you get to do so much more with your bass, but just not chords that one would traditionally slot together is all we'll say.
Now, I would say how stripped down this is. It really works for the song, but I think that is the key component for me that differentiates this from the completed tracks on the album. They are more demo-y, not in their sonic quality, but in terms of arrangements.
God, I love the lyrics so much. What is up, Buttercup?
And then here we go, chorus. So still no Colin. So I think this is a demo. Oh, he might kick in here though, where the chord progression changes. There he is.
There he is. So still potentially in that mode of videotape and 15-step. Clearly not as sonically thought out, but where Colin is slots in and out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that while all the songs on In Rainbows are very carefully arranged, they're not over-arranged. And we discussed in our In Rainbows episode, I think they're really, really proud of all the songs.
Can we turn it up a little? This is my favorite part.
Yeah, here we go.
That feels like a Greenwood.
Absolutely.
And what's so cool is it could be a tremolo pick, like on maybe an earlier Radiohead album, but we clearly got a little bit more of an advanced string arrangement going.
Yeah, so certain B-sides Radiohead have released, I think have been more just to fill a quota for the fans. Like the songs on Okay Not Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's Radiohead going, hey, all this stuff is as good as OK Computer. It's more just okay, fine. This is people love this album and we can sell this, right? It's more of a business decision.
Pearl was on the album now after having heard it. That's
Pearl is a sick song. Pearly, I think it's called.
Yeah.
A song about cum.
Yeah.
I'm sure I made that joke last time.
You did.
Okay, great. Good. Worth going back for. We can make it again because we know Mom is not listening to the podcast. But I think with this, based on just how they talk about these sessions, I get the sense the band is proud enough of all these songs that they want them out there.
Yeah, and they wanted, they cut it down to 10, as you said. And I mean, it was a great decision. But I think these were songs that at the end of the day, they had to arrange the album into 10, and they made choices.
Yeah, let's hear this jam at the end.
Colin. Really hear Colin here. Love that. Tom scatting a little bit.
So, Zach, is this a favorite of yours on this B-Sides collection?
Yes. It's not the favorite, but this is like hell yes to this song.
I mean, I really love this song. I think that if it were one that they decided to keep on the album and it had finished the arrangement just to make it sonically at the same level as everything else on In Rainbows, it would not bother me if it was on the album. And whenever I hear it, like if I've got Radiohead on shuffle in the car, this comes on, I'm listening to this song.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's kind of an Amnesiac sounding song.
Oh,
to me.
big time. And I mean, we've talked about that. I understand word painting as a concept. I think it's very, very hard to nail down because a band like Radiohead isn't super forthcoming. But and why should they be? But I just want to pull up the chords, air quotes around chords, because it is a piano-driven song. But it's not word painting, but like the name "Down is the New Up." That's a phrase that exists in general. Lexicon, what kind of world are we living in? Down is the new up, black is white.
I think this song was originally called Orange is the New Black, but then the show came out and they were like, we've got to change that, haven't we?
Yeah, so just to kind of take you through the this song does have a chorus. So it's I don't want to linger on this too long, but the chorus of down is the new up.
Oh, sure. The major chord.
Yeah. So listen. So it's down is A major. Then we go to a C sharp. We go back to A. We go to G. We go to D. And then on What Is Up, Buttercup, we go A, C sharp, A, G, D. So we're staying with the previous stanza. Then on down is the new up. Guess where we go? We go A minor, G minor, A minor, C minor.
Oh, cool.
A minor, C minor, D sharp minor, D minor. So we invert everything.
Yeah.
And that's
these sons of bitches.
Exactly. And I mean, that is, I don't know how Webster's or whatever Webster's imitator is online. What is it when you want to find out like what a phrase means, but it's not made it to Webster's?
Like Urban Dictionary?
Yeah. I don't know if Urban Dictionary. But just to invert it, again, maybe that sounded like nothingness to people who just love Radiohead and don't care about chords. But an inversion like that is really cheeky, and it goes exactly with the chorus or with the title. Down is the new up. This is that is this.
Do you think that this is a genuine question because I don't have examples of this being the case, but do you think that Tom writes in chord inversions like that more when he writes on piano because it's more of a secondary instrument, and maybe he's more, I know he's a very proficient piano player, but maybe he's like stumbling upon chord changes that wouldn't be as intuitive on the guitar because it's just like, oh, well, what about this chord shape? What about that chord shape?
Perhaps. I also think that Tom, though,
I'm sure they do this in their guitar-driven songs, too.
I think they do, too, because I think the whole thing with, gentlemen like Jimmy Page or...
You're using the word gentleman pretty loosely there to describe Jimmy Page.
Men like Jimmy Page.
Criminal men. Evil men like
Jimmy Page. Men like Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen. Men like Tom York, though. Saying I don't, Tom specifically has said, I don't read music because I've tried to sort of learn that language and I don't like the way you cannot express rhythms, which means he's tried and clearly, same with Paul McCartney, actually. Paul McCartney, his objection isn't about the rhythms, but my point is that I think that they're saying that because the the community of folks that can compose and read music as a secondary language, which is what it is, are so rigorous about whether you can or cannot. So I think what they're doing is they're saving themselves a little bit from the assholes out there. They're like, no, he can't or whatever by just saying, hey, I can't do it.
Right.
Because so I really do think watching Tom play piano that he has a much stronger understanding from a technical proficiency standpoint.
Sure.
And they're just doing that to say like, no, I don't know what an F sharp over, whatever inverted is. I can't. But I think that understanding is there. So I think that is to say that, maybe those melodic structures are easier to find over a piano because a D minor versus a D major on a guitar, it's very clear and there's a little bit more ambiguity on the piano.
Sure.
So I don't actually know what I'm saying. I don't know if I answered that at all. But
no, I get it.
Okay.
I think that it sounds to me like what you're saying is Tom has a stronger understanding of theory than he gives himself credit for.
Thank you.
It's probably more intentional than not.
Yes.
Which I buy.
Absolutely. So love that fucking song.
Me too. Great song. Let's see what's next. So this is Go Slowly. Takes a second to get started.
So we have listeners, we have a syncopated rhythm. So if you want to count it, it's doom, doom, bass, doom, bass, down, down, bass, down, down, bass, down. So it's just a difficult rhythm.
The offbeats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Ed is doing all the textures. So do you hear that? That's Ed.
Well, as we know, he likes to do the arpeggios, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
It's okay if I was wrong.
No. Yeah. I mean, he's doing an arpeggiation over the chord changes. Walker, I love this fucking song.
Yeah, you know what? This is one for me that I love it as a B-side. And we're not here to Radiohead made the album they wanted to make Within Rainbows, so it's not a relitigation of that. But this is just one where great B-side, not an album-worthy cut for me, but it's really pretty.
Well, and I love too because it's really pretty, but I would say
very sad sounding.
Its companion to me has always been videotape a little bit. But where I love it, maybe in comparison to videotape, is it does kind of kick in. It's not going to get bombastic, listeners. But in a part upcoming, we do get a really nice change. So beautiful.
I like that chord change right there.
Here we go. So we're building.
I like that this is seemingly kind of a Tom Ed joint.
Yeah.
This is very David Gilmour-y.
Well, and I love where it ends right here. This feels like such an obvious thing if I were writing a song, and I love that Radiohead do it.
Yeah, this is really nice. I really like it.
I love it.
No complaints about this song. You know how to play this one, right?
I do. It's a very it's in standard tuning.
That was my first question.
And it's just, and I found a way to weave in Ed's part. I found a way. There's a wonderful lesson online from Warren Music, where he
Warren Music, come on the show.
Yeah, Warren,
we love your tutorials.
Warren Lane, please.
Every Radiohead song I've learned online has been from your tutorials.
And God, Warren, you would make such an interesting guest because Warren's big thing. Warren is an educated musician in the most literal sense. Like just teaches. He has a wealth of material online for free listeners. He gives online lessons, paid for courses, like masterclass level stuff. And he's a San Jose guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're not tipping his hand. He says as much.
Sure.
I've noticed that we've got several downloads from San Jose, California. My hope. Anyway, I don't know. Warren, if you're out there, we would be honored to have you on as a guest.
Yeah, well, if you're out there, touch base with us because we're big fans.
Yeah, man. I just learned
well, we know
so
he's
much.
out there. I guess I mean if you're listening. If you're out there listening.
Anyways, yeah, he has a really, really phenomenal lesson on YouTube to learn, and I would encourage listeners to check that out.
Now that one's over. Should I just let it go into the next song?
Please.
So what is that? Let's see. Counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've got Massive Knockers too. And this is more confirming to me that is what it stands for, because I don't mean to be crass. There's no way to say it. There are 2 knockers on the human woman body.
Excluding the creature from Kung Pao, the
3-knockered one?
Yeah, the 3-knockered one.
Well, let's see if we get an MK3 on this album before it's done, and then we'll know he's talking about the 3-titty creature in Total Recall.
No, in Total Recall, there's also a
3-breasted alien.
Yes.
What were you? I'm sorry. What
Kung
were you?
Pao.
What's that?
It's a woman with 3 breasts.
Oh, okay.
Remember it's that like kind of National Lampoon level movie that's
Kung Pao.
Kung Pao. Yeah, it's a spoof.
So that was interstitial MK2, just sound collage into the song Last Flowers.
This is a biggie.
Which, Zach, this is my favorite song on disc 2. We'll let the first vocal lines play.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to talk too much over this one. I'll be crying.
I cannot keep up, treading on people's toes. Snot nose little punk.
Now I'm going to talk a little bit. This, to me, Zach, is in that category of, you're genuinely emotional, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is it okay for us to acknowledge that on mic?
Yeah.
What is it about this song, aside from how beautiful it is?
I don't know.
Aw. Listeners, I've always said, I think I said on the podcast at one point that or was it off mic that I said, I will get Zach to cry on this podcast, but I don't think I could take the credit for this one. I think Tom got you to cry.
Yeah.
This, for me, is one of those songs that fits into my fantasy category of a solo Tom album played on just piano and guitar. Because this is a solo Tom song on a Radiohead album. There's just piano, vocal, rhythm, acoustic guitar.
Yeah, I think this one gets me so much because it reminds me of someone very close to me and to Walker lost a parent when we were younger, and for some reason the words just like slot into what I would imagine that feeling would be of kind of regret of what you'd want to tell the person, and yeah, I don't know. That's the feeling it gives me. It's like, and Walker and I are very fortunate. Our parents are happy and healthy. But yeah, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of what it must be like to lose a parent at a young age and kind of everything you'd want to say. And I have no idea if the words were written where the words were written from for Tom, but it gets me every time.
That's, I think, a really good way to specify the feeling of this song and to distill that into a story, because it does sound to me like returning to a familiar setting and being overwhelmed by the memories.
Yeah.
That line, houses move and houses speak.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous song.
And then this transition
changes into this coda.
I love this because we have a C and an E minor and an A major, which we've had an A minor before. Okay, no big shocker. It's Radiohead. But we have this weird Tom York hum harmony right here. Turn up. Oh, it's on the next one. He goes. Here it is. We can't really hear it on our mix, but it's right here. He goes. Probably just ruined it for the listener.
No, that's. I don't know if they ever play this song live, but I sure would love to hear it.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I would just be collapsed if.
Yeah. Gorgeous song, Last Flowers.
Yeah.
That also sounds to me like it fits into the narrative that you're kind of seeing for this song. Last Flowers, that brings to mind funeral imagery. When Tom goes from a really seemingly like earnest, sincere place like this song, it kind of always works for me. I can't think of any of their like sad, pretty, stripped down songs that I don't really love.
Yeah. I mean, that one is just interesting to me because it gets me like True Love Waits. Like I get the connection to, gosh, her name escapes me.
Rachel Owens,
like when we were talking about on The Eraser, and they were still together at that point. And I think I've seen some bullshit online that like, because her passing was, I believe, only 2 years after when they had parted ways. That like it who knows? But it's
but people are connecting it to them breaking up.
Yes, and I believe from everything I've read that they still maintained a very amicable relationship. They had children together, but I say all that to say that like Tom and Rachel were still very much together during. When this song was recorded in 2007. But to me, I kind of think about it that way for Tom too. So I think that's just one of the reasons why it gets me. And I didn't really need to include that except to say that, the passing of somebody that you were with and are no longer with, that doesn't remove any of the gravity of it.
Of course.
Oh, that was my whole point, is it gets me even more than True Love Waits, even though they put True Love Waits on a moon-shaped pool, kind of, I would think in honor and in memory of her. But that one for me just brings up all the feels, I would say, of any Radiohead song ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't mean it's my favorite, but man, does it hit me.
Well, it's my favorite on this record, with one more that may be tied with it that may surprise you. Okay. Now, this next one I'm very excited about. This is Up on the Ladder.
Okay, can you pause it? And I don't want this to be an edit. Listeners, in the first, I don't know, what was it, 3 seconds in?
Yeah.
One of the most Radiohead things to do. Listen to the kick drum and how many times it goes, and then what they do to kick us back into gear. It's just, they can't be normal. They're special.
Go. Let's hear it again.
So to count that song in a way that isn't confusing would be the way to go, but that's not Radiohead.
So what does it go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,
yeah,
5, 1, 2?
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
And Johnny is doing a tremolo pick, which I love. Colin.
Song has an amazing bass line. I love the dirty rhythm guitar part being played by Tom. The kick drum sounds like they kind of recorded this one to an electronic loop. And I'll just give a spoiler. We don't get more percussion other than this kick drum.
Mm-mm.
And this is not a complaint, but this is a song I really, really like. Mm-hmm. It is one that sounds fairly unfinished to me.
Interesting.
Basically because I think that if this were to be turned into an album cut, it doesn't seem like a very Radiohead choice to me to just have a repeating kick drum through a whole song. That sounds like a first draft.
I agree with you because yes, but I mean with the tremolo picking and the vocal overlay, it does seem finished. So I think it's finished everywhere but the percussion because I say that because this song to me, along with Body Snatchers, feel like the cousin of I Might Be Wrong.
Sure.
This song is not in drop D; it's in open B minor. So good luck figuring it out, listeners. It's very, very hard, but I love this break.
Sure, let's
and
go
I love
with
what the crackle they do with Tom's voice. Fucking love the lyrics of this song.
I've been climbing up this ladder. I've been wasting my time.
Now,
And also, I was wrong. I do hear actually a little bit of notes on the cymbals there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it just sounds to me like they were like, oh, we know the rhythm of the song and we'll figure out all the guitar and bass arrangements on top of it.
And this song does have a chorus, which would be Up on the Ladder. In early versions of this song, he would say, don't let your people down. Don't let your people down up on the ladder, which is really cool.
Interesting.
But they won't let your people down. And it would just kind of be in the background under the...
Oh, you mean where the oohs come in here?
Yeah.
Right here?
Don't let your people down.
Oh.
And it has a Tom York.
Getting ready for a big cuss. Let's listen to it.
And listen to Colin cooking at the end of the hair, listeners.
Great song. It's probably one I should have looked up like a live version of because I just like to hear how they do it in more of a band mode.
So
just because like I say, it just doesn't sound finished to me with that kick drum being the sole percussion.
So this is a song where I don't know if they played it. I don't believe they did on the Bonnaroo 2006 Legendary set, but there is I want to say a version from maybe 2003 of them playing it live, and it sounds like fucking I don't know, Rancid playing this song. It does not sound like Radiohead, and it is Radiohead, but it's like bow bow ba-da-ga-da. It's like it's not a good sounding song where they're playing it. It's a poor quality video, but it's crazy how much they really refined it. It's when I really appreciate that they stripped down.
Is it live 2002 perhaps?
Probably, yeah. And it looks like a fan probably filmed it.
Okay, I'm gonna just add this to our stuff for possible. All right, so the next one on here is something called Bangers and Mash, the and being a plus sign. So Bangers and Mash, Bangers plus Mash, what have you. But it goes a little something like this. I gotta say, in this song and the last one, Tom has a really interesting tone on his guitar. Because it's not quite fuzz, it's not...
Oh, this is Johnny because Tom's playing the drums. Tom and Phil are playing the drums.
Even in the studio version?
Yep. There's 2 drum kits going.
Oh.
So it's the Johnny is... And this is such a Greenwood riff. Tom's a good drummer.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Are they playing different things?
No. They're more in more or less in synchronicity with one another. And Phil might be taking a little bit of a backseat. Maybe he's just on the hi-hat, letting Tom do the snare, because it's really hard to get snare hits perfect. I fucking love this song.
You know what? This is not one that's ever done a ton for me.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, I like it. I don't have anything bad to say about it.
I love where it goes because you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is Radiohead. Are we back in Amnesiac territory a little bit of like a lot of experimentation, but it just rocks.
Yeah, I think it's a fun rocker. To me, it calls back to earlier than Amnesiac. But I
It's
do
very-
really like the Greenwood.
Okay, here's my favorite part coming up. What they do with the riff, you're like, this does feel Mars Volta, this part coming up here, what they're going to do.
All right, let's check this out. That's cool. Maybe I like this song more than I thought, because this is really different and cool. And now I retract my comment of this sounds older than Amnesiac, because that was very weird. But
Well,
just
yeah,
not one
real-
that's ever jumped out to me.
Well,
but
do you know what bangers and mash are?
sausage and
Yeah.
sausage and potatoes, right?
Yeah, if I can recommend a movie that is, oh God, that could be maybe OK Computer.
Sounds like they're having fun in the studio, which I appreciate.
Big time
This one
fun.
sounds like a really cool fuck around.
Yeah, and there's
Kind of got a like your blues vibe to it.
Ooh, yeah, definitely. And I love because you don't really know what the melody of this song is too much, but then like we hear those strums of what sound like a D major to me. So they're tying everything together. We have all the guitar parts we've heard now at once.
Yeah, you know what? Like now that I'm hearing it kind of through your ears, this is probably one that's just a little too weird to make the album.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe I kind of let my first impression kind of keep me from enjoying this song as much as I could, because it just kind of to me always like, oh, okay, it's like a basic rocker. But just listening to it with you now, I'm like, oh, this is a very weird song.
Yeah, and this is so
and would not really fit with the vibe that In Rainbows is.
Yeah, what's so funny is listeners, please go listen to our episode analyzing Radiohead with Brad Osborne. The only reason why I'm okay occasionally invoking Omar Rodriguez Lopez, the leader of the band of the Mars Volta, occasionally in Radiohead's music, is because I got confirmation from Brad Osborne that he occasionally hears like a Johnny Greenwood influence, or possibly going both ways. Because I was worried, I was like, well, I love both those bands, so I'm going to make that comparison. But it's in songs like that where I hear really, 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 really unconventional whole tone scales played over like vocals to where it all sounds at odds, but then it ties back together. And of course, there's lots of like King Crimson does that. Yes can do that sometimes, but it's not a thing Radiohead does a lot. So when I hear it, I'm really excited that I'm like, oh. And just getting the agreement from one other person who I don't know his degree of fanship of Omar is always really gratifying. And I think that's a song where I hear it a little bit. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or, whatever.
I don't really have anything to add to that. I think it's a good comparison, and I'm glad that you got validation from somebody smart that it is a good comparison.
That's all I want in life, listeners.
That's all any of us want.
Yeah.
Now, I will say Bangers and Mash, this is one of those titles where it sounds cool if you're from another country, but when you find it's like it's sausage and potato. If this song was called Sausage and Potatoes, I'd be like, that's fucking stupid. But Bangers and Mash is a good title.
I think it might be a little bit though of like they're banking on the fact that most people don't know, because it does sound like a fucking banger. And
yeah,
exactly.
No, it works. It's just one of those things where you're like, they're maybe sliding through on a cultural difference there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next song that comes up is, I believe, the last song. And Zach, this is my favorite song. I know I said Last Flowers and It Are Tied. I think this is actually my favorite song. And it's, I would say, an outlier. It doesn't sound like anything else on this collection to me. It doesn't sound like a lot of other Radiohead songs, period. It's called 4 Minute Warning. And it starts with a fair amount of this ambient noise before it gets into the song proper, but I think all of it's very nice. This has got to be The Handsome Man. These sound like guitar volume swells to me, run through a great deal of effects.
Really cool stuff.
Now, Zach, one reason I say this is an outlier, not just on this record, but period, is the chords here are A, D, E. When's the last time Radiohead wrote a song with those chords? Probably Pablo Honey.
Backdrifts, maybe. I could see this on Hail to the Thief. Not necessarily, but I mean, I think I could... the Hail to the Thief is the only non-Pablo Honey album I could hear it on.
Sure.
If that makes any sense, because it certainly has no place on Amnesiac or Kid A.
And they still managed to make it... There's some dissonance. It sounds like Johnny there is playing his guitar through some kind of warbly effects that bring a little bit of dissonance. I love the tambourine part in the background. But it's a very pretty song.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, even just because Backdrifts is like I believe Jesse Rimler said it could be a campfire jam because it is. I don't know if there's a major chord or a minor in it at all. But yeah, no, this is totally unique.
But this is like a folk song, and I love that. And I can play this song on acoustic guitar because I know those chords, listeners. And it's a very fun song to sing, and it also is a very happy sounding song with lyrics that are very dark and full of dread. This is the chorus. Different chords in the chorus.
What's the length of this song?
4 minutes.
I love that.
And beautiful piano part comes in there. So this song, the 4-minute warning, the titular 4-minute warning, is about the process in place in case of nuclear fallout. And one of those things that Tom read the phrase, and then taking something that sounds incredibly innocuous, and there's this whole dark context of it. The lyrics are, "This is just a nightmare. Soon I'm going to wake up. Someone's going to bring me round. Running from the bombers, hiding in the forest, running through the fields, laying flat on the ground, just like everybody, stepping over hills, running from the underground. This is your warning, 4-minute warning." I just love how scary all of it is. And then it just sounds so nice. As listeners know, happy sounding sad songs are my favorite thing. A lot of Elliott Smith songs like that. No Surprises is a big example of that. Randy Newman is the king of it.
Walker, I love that song.
Isn't it so gorgeous?
I love the tambourine. I love the restraint. I love that it's a closer. I love that it has that wall of sound. But I love that it goes into what could be a campfire jam. It's just a really, really special song, and it has some brightness to it. And I love that, what is that Radiohead song? I'm a Wicked Child. I love getting these little glimpses into the studio of what the songwriting process, to an extent, could be. Of I'm a Wicked Child is a song, and and it's maybe clear to some why it didn't make the album. But like that one, it's like, how many times did they play that through? Probably quite a few.
Yeah.
But not that many.
Right.
And it's this wonderful glimpse behind the curtain, whereas Up on the Ladder, maybe Go Slowly, which I think is beautifully produced. Those feel like labors of love. Probably.
Yeah. I think also we talk about a lot like, does Radiohead have fun?
Right.
And I do think that when they are putting an album together, they leave something like this off and put something like Faust Arp on, probably because there is we're competing with ourselves here and we need to do something that is innovative. But then you hear songs like that, and I think I'm a Wicked Child that you brought up is a good example. You hear stuff like this, and it's like, they also just sit around and jam and play and have fun. And this song, to me, it's like, for all their kind of more out there influences, I hear a song like that, and you're like, yeah, they don't just sit around listening to Bitches Brew all the time. They also like the Beatles and the Stones, and these guys like pop pop
And
rock
Grizzly
music
Bear?
too.
This is around the time when Johnny Greenwood named in the press his favorite band was the band Grizzly Bear. Have you kept up with them at all?
I have not listened. The album after Vecatimus did not super grab me, and so I just haven't really kept up with them. But Yellow House and Vecatimus are wonderful. Wonderful.
I
records.
agree, and I say that just because,
And I'm sure they've made great stuff since. I just haven't kept up with them.
absolutely. And I interrupted you with that. I'm sorry.
No, not
but
at all.
just to it brings me a lot of joy. You know, I speculated on Hail to the Thief that like maybe Johnny Greenwood would be listening to somebody like the Mars Volta because they're contemporary, weird as fuck, all that other stuff. But it excites me, the idea of that happening. And I love that there is actually proof positive that and I'm not mistaken, right? Johnny Greenwood did go on record. I love that, you know, and it like you said, it's just cool to imagining. It's cool imagining them listening to Bitches Brew, which I have listened to. You know, very innovative stuff, but pretty somber.
Yeah.
Along with something like Grizzly Bear, which is like, oh shit, these guys are amazing musicians with some bright themes, you know?
Totally. And even though this song isn't on the album, it's just like a nice reminder that Radiohead is not this like impenetrable like cipher.
Right.
You know, they have accessible stuff, and they have accessible stuff on their albums. And as we discussed, I think In Rainbows is perhaps the most accessible Radiohead album from post OK Computer.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, I just really like it. And it also shows, too, that it's like there's more ways to be complex than just weird chords and not having hooks in your songs. Because, like I said, this is a very simple song, but then it's arranged in a very interesting and unusual way to where I was very, like, pleasantly surprised when I sat down to learn it. It's like, oh, I can strum and play this
Surely
song.
you test Radiohead.
Yeah, it was like, oh, it's all right there. This is a super easy song. And I wouldn't have necessarily known that because it sounds to me like it was probably written on the guitar piano as like a basic chord song. And then they're like, okay, well, let's take out this, add these weird backing vocals. And it's all the stuff that's removed makes it sound stranger than it is.
But also there's songs like Last Flowers, which when Walker and I have played it, I like to let him take lead on it. But like that is a song that's a piano song that is very, I believe the opening salvo or whatever is F minor, G minor, A minor.
Yeah.
So chords that you have to know what you're doing to write a melody over, but really fun song to play on guitar too.
And actually, you can actually play note for note what he's playing on the piano on the guitar.
Yeah.
Which is not true with a lot of piano-driven songs.
Yeah, so I don't think that's why they left a lot of these songs off, but I guess just to your point, you know, I really, really like that about them. I just may have sounded a little distracted because you said, along with OK Computer, this might be their most successful album. Walker, I just had an idea of what if we bomb on to Radiohead Reddit with hot take, Hail to the Thief is Radiohead's most accessible album.
Ooh, that's good. Should I do it right now? Yeah. Okay, you have to help me with this. We'll do this on air. So, okay.
Because it is a hot take because nobody thinks that.
Okay, so title, hot take. Should I... the title of the post...
Two-tiered hot take, Jimmy Carter was our best president and...
Well, but we probably... A, I like that. And B, you know, he's definitely our best president post-presidency.
Because he loves peace.
He loves peace, and he just, you know, he's out there building houses, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to...
Saw an alien.
Is he a UFO guy?
He and Ronald Reagan both, yeah.
Interesting.
Don't know about Ronald Reagan, but I know Jimmy Carter for sure. Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, I like Jimmy Carter too. Okay, but wait. So, hot take. Should I just keep the title just hot take? Now, I don't want to say anything that gives away that we're being cheeky.
No, hot take. Hail to the Thief is Radiohead's most accessible album for an uninitiated.
Hot take. Hail to the Thief is the band's most accessible album.
You could play it for your mom. You don't have to add that, but
So in the body of the text, should we say like, I was trying to get my boomer parents into Radiohead. And I played. Okay, so let's. Okay, so I was trying to. Listeners are getting. By the way, Zach and I are practically celebrities on the Radiohead Reddit. So we're playing fast and loose with our status here. I was trying to get my boomer parents.
Well, the fucking Hail to the Thief meme you did of Joker got like 4,000 upvotes or something.
Radiohead. Okay, so I should say, I played my mom High and Dry, and I have to confess, she said, I have to confess, it's a little weird for me. How about that? Into Radiohead. Okay, and then how about, so I showed her We Suck Young Blood, and now Radiohead is her favorite band, and then just send that out.
She said, "Oh, honey, it reminds me of."
I showed her
Heart's Crazy on You.
We Suck. That's good.
Which, just in case, listeners,
it reminded her of Fleetwood Mac or Heart.
Heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of Crazy on You by Heart.
Listeners, one of Zach Glenn's favorite 70s rock bands.
And now she can't get enough.
I love the Wilson sisters.
If you are trying to get someone into Radiohead, Hail to the Thief is just hands down the easiest place to start. All right. So I'm going to read it back before we send it in. Any addition. So, okay. Hot take. Hail to the Thief is the band's most accessible album. I was trying to get my boomer parents into Radiohead. I played my mom High and Dry, and she said it was too weird for her. So I showed her We Suck Young Blood. She said it reminded her of Crazy on You by Heart, and now she can't get enough. If you are trying to get someone into Radiohead, Hail to the Thief is just hands down the easiest place to start.
Can I suggest one edit, or did you click post?
No, please.
Can you change if you are trying to, are you hungry to get somebody into the band Radiohead?
If you are hungry to get somebody... Okay.
If you are hungry.
Oh, sure. Good. A ref in there. Hungry to get... If you are hungry to get someone into Radiohead, Hail to the Thief is just hands down the easiest place to start. What's another... Like, is there one, like, really annoying way to end this? Like...
You have not been paying attention. To, like...
I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to, like, other people that, like, if you haven't done this yet, you've not been paying attention.
But no, what about like maybe skip there though, since it's one of the weaker tracks on the album.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Heretical.
Although I'd skip there.
The bony king of nowhere. I wish you could put sarcasm in it.
I'd skip over there. Since it's probably the weakest song. Probably the weakest song.
Listeners, I hope you think this is sort of funny for how funny I think it is.
So, okay. I'm also like trying to really like capitalize and punctuate correctly, so it seems like I'm very serious. Okay. One more time all the way through. Hot take. Hail to the Thief is the band's most accessible album. I was trying to get my boomer parents into Radiohead. I played my mom High and Dry, and she said it was too weird for her. So I showed her... Sorry. Let's see. We'll be able to check in at the end and see how mad people are getting. Do you think people are going to get that this is... So what'll be interesting to see if it happens is when people post really bad takes on the Radiohead Reddit, sometimes they independently of the original poster make it over to the Radiohead shit posting group, Radiohead Circle Jerk. Yeah. So I would love if this gets people annoyed enough that they start spoofing it. I was trying to get my boomer parents into Radiohead. I played my mom High and Dry, and she said it was too weird for her. So I showed her We Suck Young Blood. She said it reminded her of Crazy on You by Heart. She said it reminded her of Crazy on You by Heart, and now she can't get enough. If you are hungry to get someone into Radiohead, Hail to the Thief is just hands down the easiest place to start. Although I'd skip over There since it's probably the weakest song on the album.
Yes, please post it immediately.
There we go. In Radiohead. 395 people are online right now, and I hope they... Should I tag it spoiler? Tag spoiler. All right, we'll check back in on that.
Should we take a break and then wind up with general thoughts?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I have to pee.
So we will check back in on that post at the end of the episode and see what kind of havoc we hath wrought in r/radio.
It's too bad one of our names isn't Davy, the Davy Havoc that we had brought.
Wow.
Okay. Stupid reference.
All right, Miss Murder. Now, Zach, I understand that do you like how I'm setting this up like as if I don't know this already?
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, Zach, my intern prepped me with some questions for you. And I happen to know that even though I think you spoke very highly of In Rainbows, that there are some B-sides that you would maybe swap, or there's some songs you would maybe swap out for some B-sides.
Yes.
So I was curious, and I'm sure the listeners are curious if they're anything like me, and they are because they love this podcast, and I love this podcast. Can you give me like a track listing for your kind of perfect Hail to the Thief?
In Rainbows?
In Rainbow. God, see, I've got the post we just did. I've got Radiohead's most accessible album on the brain.
Exactly. Yes, I would love to. And I want to say, before I do this, that In Rainbows, Disc 1, the album, is what it is. And it is a perfect album. So an album I think that Walker compared it to that we have oft agreed is perfect is Abbey Road. Now, is Octopus's Garden up there with, Oh Darlin' or, no. Do I love that song? Yes. And do I love it only because it's on Abbey Road? No. I think that the guitar work in it is astounding.
But you think it's elevated from how it fits into the album as a
yes.
whole.
Same with I think a song that maybe I want to say like Weird Fishes is one that I would say ranks a little bit lower, right? And 6 of one, 2 + 2 = 5 of another. It doesn't really matter. But like it's in that camp for me where it's just such a brilliant work of art. And I don't know, as we've talked about, I don't know what my favorite Radiohead album is. If I could toot our own horns, respectively, I would say that what we kind of landed on at the end of our second episode where we went track by track, it's getting harder and harder to say what our favorite album is because Radiohead are such are so personal and special to us and are such a mood. So in doing this is more of a fun experiment that I've thought about a lot over the years. This is not what I think the band should have done.
Okay.
This is not what would make it far and away my favorite. I think that when contemplating, like, if it were up to me, if I were Nigel, if I were Tom, or whomever makes those ultimate decisions, what could possibly put it in that spot where I'm like, it doesn't come close. I may love There. I may love Paranoid Android, but like, so I'm kind of done working in that category.
Sure.
But yeah,
so it sounds like it's not a slag on In Rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
It's more you love Disc 2 so much.
Yes.
That you could create Zach's kind of fantasy album.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sticking to having to keep it 10 tracks or are you expanding it?
No, I'm sticking to 10.
Okay, hit me with it, man. What is it? I'm dying of curiosity.
Okay.
Let me really quickly.
Yeah.
Lila, go to your bed. Good girl. Good girl.
So sticking to 10 tracks, which I think is essential. OK Computer is 12. Kid A is 10. Amnesiac is 11. We've talked about how Amnesiac could be 10 if they cut Morning Bell. Hail to the Thief might be a little bit on the bloated side with 14. We went over that in exhaustive detail. I love the way Jesse kind of framed it. So if I had, don't want to mess with the magic too much, but if I could sequence in Rainbows, slotting in some of these B-sides, it's going to go a little bit like this. You do not mess with 15 Step as your opener.
Okay.
Perfect tone setter. You do not touch Body Snatchers. So that is track 2. So we're going track 1, 15 Step. Track 2, Body Snatchers. Track 3, Nude. Track 4.
So far, nothing changed.
Track 4 on the album is Weird Fishes / Arpeggi.
Mm-hmm.
I changed that to Down is the New Up.
Okay.
Track 5. We don't mess with that one. That's all I need still.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need on the finished cut. That's all I need on Zach's alternate. So as we talked about, all I need is track 5 on this 10-track album. So it is sort of the closer of what would be side 1, right? 5 and 5. I think we take Faust Arp off and we put Up on the Ladder on there. Now,
okay.
I really, really like Up on the Ladder more just as a song than Faust Arp. And I remember when we were recording in Rainbows, our episode of it, not the album, you said one of the rare Radiohead songs where there's double tracking. That is a very Elliott Smithy sounding Radiohead song, and I just wanted to throw that in because I forgot to say it at the time. Nonetheless, I think that's a brilliant song. I love it, blah, blah, blah. Up on the Ladder, slotting it in here, I struggle a little bit only because it's a really dark song.
Mm-hmm.
So it does change a lot of what we talked about within Rainbows, which is such a beautiful difference compared to the Amnesiac and the Kid A's, right? And the Hail to the Thief, obviously. It does make it decidedly darker.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love that song so much. And this is where the placement I chose. I didn't choose the placement, by the way, at random, folks. So just quick recap. We have 15 Step, Body Snatchers, Nude, Down is the New Up, All I Need, Up on the Ladder, track 6, Reckoner. We don't fuck with that. That song is beautiful achievement. After Reckoner...
Wait, that's track 7.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, track 7.
But same placement.
Exactly,
same
placement.
Starting side 2.
Yes, yes, thank you. Last Flowers, I have in place of House of Cards.
Okay.
Following Last Flowers, we have Jigsaw falling into place.
Mm-hmm.
And then to close out the album, I have Go Slowly.
Losing Videotape.
And I'm not solid on that because I actually, looking at this listing, I said I think Go Slowly is sort of the sibling, companion, whatnot of Videotape. I think Last Flowers is actually maybe more the companion to Videotape.
Sure.
But I think that it could go either way.
I think you're smart to end it with a stripped down song because the Videotape is, even though it's a fully orchestrated arrangement, it's a departure from the rest of the album in terms of it's slower, it's sadder, and there's not as big of a wall of sound happening.
So yeah, I have 10 tracks. Just to recap one more time, 15 Step is our opener, Body Snatchers is track 2, Nude is track 3, Down is the New Up is track 4. That is in place of Weird Fishes, /Arpeggi. Track 5 is All I Need. Track 6 is Up on the Ladder. Track 7 is Reckoner. Track 8 is Last Flowers, the song that I cried on mic to. Track 9 is Jigsaw falling into place. Track 10 is Go Slowly. Walker, what do you think of my resequencing?
I think it sounds like a great album because you can't go too wrong with the songs that are available to you from these 2 discs. All the ones that you've chosen are highlights of disc 2 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to fight you too hard on it because it's just really a
But
fun...
I want to hear what the...
Here would be my objection to it.
Okay.
Now, in the case of swapping out Weird Fishes for Down is the New Up, I feel slightly conflicted about that one because I think I probably just isolated from their albums, from their context within the other songs. I think I probably like Down is the New Up a little better, and I won't hold it against it. I'm not going to hold against any of the songs you swapped in that they're not as fully fleshed out.
Yeah, from a production standpoint.
Yeah, let's just say that they're all equally finished because whatever. It's not fun to nitpick on those grounds because they put them on disc 2 for a reason.
Especially though, just to go against myself, because the Weird Fishes and House of Cards in particular are some of the most beautifully produced Nigel moments. So
sure,
right away I can see that as an objection.
Yes. So anyway, so we'll take that off the table because let's just say that we're judging them on the basis of songs and what we think the song kind of would have been had they taken it to the full mastering level. I think I like Down Is the New Up better than Weird Fishes, but I think that slotting it in there, it is a little bit too much of a down note where I like Weird Fishes, even though I wouldn't call Weird Fishes one of the more happy sounding songs on the album, happy being a very relative word when describing Radiohead. It's still it's more pretty, and it's like I think one of the most like radio friendly songs on the album.
We landed on bright, I think, as an adjective.
Bright is great, and I think it's very nicely placed there. So Down Is the New Up. It just doesn't break up the album for me in the same way that it does. So what's the next thing you swapped out? Up on the Ladder for Faust Art.
Yeah. Both are sort of dark already.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the reset of Faust Art.
Right.
And we don't get a lot of acoustic Radiohead songs. So I really like that this one made it on the album. There's B-sides like that on almost every single album, but there's almost never a Tom on the acoustic guitar, even though there's a string arrangement in that song. But there's almost never a song like that on the album, as I have said too many times at this point. I love those kind of songs.
Yeah.
And so I want to keep that there. Up on the Ladder, I would also have the same objection that it just sounds too close to other songs that they did put on the album. So I just don't want to sacrifice the variety that In Rainbows gives us. Last Flowers is in place of what?
House of Cards.
You know, I think I can't say which song I like better. It's hard for me to think that I think House of Cards has become a weird sneaky favorite for me, and it to me is by far the brightest, if we want to stick with that word instead of happy, on the album. And you know, it follows the very soulful sad sounds of Reckoner, and it's before the more abrasive kind of scary paranoid androidiness of Jigsaw falling into place. So I really like that there's this nice sounding song there. And having a song that I'll even just say that I love Last Flowers as much for very different reasons, but having a very sad, depressing song there doesn't feel right to me.
Which is why I'm questioning, like, if I were to redo this again, which who cares? I mean, but like Last Flowers, I think could be in place of Videotape were I to kind of re-examine this listing. But I'm sticking with what I have. So.
You know, I will say, I think your last choice of swapping out Videotape for Go Slowly, I definitely like the song Videotape more, but I think that is probably my favorite and, in my opinion, the most interesting of the swaps you've made here, because I think you achieve a similar effect.
Yeah.
Radiohead is not a band that typically puts a kind of smaller song as the closer. They definitely do it on Kid A, but other than that, they usually have a pretty like full big song.
The Tourist, Wolf at the Door is kind of straddles both, but it's a bigger song.
And maybe I'm eating my words because also Street Spirit is one that doesn't feel like it could go anywhere but the end of that album.
Yeah, I agree.
So they have songs that feel like are only going to make the album as a closer, and Go Slowly feels like that to me, so I like it. I like it there. Would I actually swap it? Probably not. But I like that. I also think that if I were to make a swap, which I feel a little weird even saying because I love In Rainbows the way it is, I would maybe close the record the way they closed disc 2. And after Jigsaw, to have the sort of strummy, folky melody of 4 Minute Warning would also be interesting.
Right, because that feels...
And would make you less suicidal than Videotape does.
Well, it also feels very motion picture soundtrack, too. Of like, I just came out of this journey, but I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, even though lyrically it's every bit as pessimistic as Videotape, but or not as personal.
Motion picture soundtrack... It reminds me of The End of the Wall a little bit. I will see you in the next life. What is the closing track of the Goodbye Cruel World? And is kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Goodbye, I'm leaving you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so, for all the shit we've given Roger Waters, talk about brilliant.
Yeah. Although, once again, illustrating the massive difference in subtlety between Tom York and Roger Waters.
Yeah. No, totally. But
yes, I love that it cuts off before the note is fully out in the end of the wall.
And I just want to say, too, I know that we've gestured at this. I think one of the great things about a band like Radiohead and when they came about, and by the way, other bands have had this opportunity too, but where I think Radiohead have really seized the moment is taking their cues from a band like Pink Floyd, who go a lot of different places emotionally, and adding some subtlety to that. Like, do you get motion picture soundtrack without the wall? You know, or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to linger on that too long because that's totally different than what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
But I think Radiohead are so smart because they've had the exposure of the Beatles, of Aphex Twin, of all the jazz influence that they had, and are like, how do we blend this and maybe and respect our audience, which is a thing. That's one of the reasons listeners why Walker and I think love Kubrick so much is because the movies don't think for you, or pick any great artist like that. But I love it when they're like, I respect David Lynch with like Twin Peaks. That show does anything but think for you,
right?
So I think Radiohead kind of slot into that canon a little bit too much. That's my biggest rabbit trail. I think of the day.
I love that. And I will also say I love the songs that you included, and I can imagine if Radiohead decided to make In Rainbows more than 10 tracks. The ones that you're including are ones that would be high on my list. And I do think they're well placed, even if I happen to prefer the songs that they're replacing.
I will say
I think you got a good list there.
Thank you.
Listeners, try it out at home. See how it feels to you. Do you like it better than how Radiohead did it?
I will say I was really certain of this though, for a long time. We're gonna drop into the Idiotalk podcast feed. We will have already. You can hear my interview with Sean Perrin on his podcast, OK Podcast. I was certain at that time that In Rainbows would have been my favorite album had they have made these swaps. I don't go into this level of detail at all. It's a 35-minute quick interview. After talking with Walker about it though last week, I do think the net effect of if Radiohead were to have somehow sequenced it this way, or if they re-release it or whatever, it does change the tone of the album from occasionally bright to, this existential kind of crises like we talk about in Body Snatchers, or like, what was so funny, Walker, is your interpretation of Jigsaw falling into place was never something that I had thought of about, like, you're off work, you get drinks with your mates or whatever, but then it kind of I'd never thought of that.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, that is like such a good interpretation.
I think I read Tom
say
that,
okay, fair enough. But like, I do think that this takes it into Hail to the Thief Part 2, but still a much better album. But I don't know that I want, like, particularly with Up on the Ladder, like that song is, I think it's the cousin of I Might Be Wrong. The relentless sort of, listeners, the riff.
Yeah.
It makes it a little darker than maybe does the album artwork work? Does it, so you don't need to fix something that ain't broke.
Yeah.
But I just love these songs. To me, they are more than B-sides.
I'm
all I
with
would
that.
say.
I'm
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, like they don't feel like toss-offs at all.
No.
And it's interesting because of how much I love Disc 2, part of me does wonder, wouldn't Rainbows just be more of what I already love if they made it 16 tracks?
Yeah.
But I think that it probably would have more of the effect of when you watch a director's cut.
Yeah.
And the added scenes are almost always interesting and almost always interrupt the flow of the movie and make a worse viewing experience than the one like the Apocalypse Now.
Looking at you, Ridley, for Blade Runner.
Sure. I mean, that movie, who knows what the hell cut you're watching. I think there's like 3 different fucking cuts of that movie or
Yes,
something.
absolutely.
I'm also not the hugest Blade Runner fan in general. And yes, I know it's me, not the movie. I just am like, when I watch it, I feel like I'm like supposed to love it.
Oh.
And I'm a little bit like, I'm bored.
No. Blade Runner is a stunning achievement that is not a fun movie to watch. And I am obsessed with that movie and obsessed with its sequel. And I think it's one of the most innovative, influential movies ever made. And I don't enjoy watching it. Its sequel, which
but do you mean don't enjoy
it's
like
not a
the
fun
way
watch.
you? But do you mean don't enjoy the way like? Like The Master is a challenging movie, but you love it? Or you mean don't enjoy like you...
I don't enjoy the viewing experience. I love certain scenes.
Okay.
And I think Rutger Hauer's performance in particular and Sean Young are astounding. And those scenes that feature them in it, when it's all strung together in whatever edit you're watching, it doesn't make for a fun movie.
Okay. So you think it ultimately is brilliant in ways but doesn't work as a movie?
Yes.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
Just quick sub point here, that's why I think the sequel is the most brilliant science fiction movie in the last 20 years at least, because it takes what the first one could have been, it asks those profound questions, and it makes for one of the most thought-provoking movies that I have ever seen, and certainly I think that has been released in the last 20 years.
Spoken like somebody who has not seen Avatar: The Way of Water yet. Talk about a movie that does your thinking for you. My 9-year-old walked out of that going, I feel like that's about colonialism and Native Americans.
Yeah, but you're not.
No, I loved that about it.
Brilliant little boy.
It got great conversations going. I did not tilt him toward that at all.
Yeah.
But it also was like, okay, so that's about the level of subtlety that James Cameron is working
Here's
on.
the biggest question. Can I possibly tempt you to giving Blade Runner 2049 another shot after that plug?
Well, I'm not going to say no, I absolutely will never watch it again. I can tell you I really did not like that movie.
All right, back to radio.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I want to see for the first time before I get to that one again.
Totally.
Okay, so back to Radiohead. Yeah, our director's cut, Rabbit Trail.
Mm-hmm.
You were nodding like the 10 tracks is probably what makes this a perfect album.
Yes.
I almost think, Zach, and this is the first time I am thinking this, but bringing it back to Hail to the Thief, I'm kind of like, maybe Hail to the Thief should have been a double album with like 22 tracks on it.
Sure.
Because I like double albums, but I think I do approach them more how I approach like a B-sides collection.
Yeah.
Than I would an album from a band that I expect, close to perfection, if not greatness from.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm listening to the Beatles' White Album, I'm like, I think this is my favorite Beatles album, even though it's definitely not as good as Abbey Road.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, it's got everything. And if I don't like fucking whatever, like
Glass Onion.
Or Honey Pie.
Oh,
like
I love that song.
Whatever.
But
it's
a cut.
I'm not a big fan
of
what like kind of like
Bungalow Bill.
Bungalow Bill. I don't really like. And I'm also just not. I don't like When I'm 64 either. Like I don't. What am I thinking of that mode of like kind of like
yeah. Well, When I'm 64 is off Sergeant
No,
Pepper.
I know, but the like style that those are in, I keep wanting to say vaudeville, but I'm like kind of like show tune Paul.
Yes,
I'm just not, what Lennon called his granny music.
Yeah.
I'm not that into. Neither song offends me, and all I'm saying is you overlook the lesser songs on an album where there's like, hey, here's 25 songs to play around in, than if that album was 15 songs,
right?
And one of them was Honey Pie and one of them was Bungalow Bill. I'd probably be like, this album's too long and super uneven,
right?
So I'm glad In Rainbows is what it is, but I almost now, for the first time, and for some reason I feel it with a great deal of conviction, feel like, don't make a long album, make a super tight album, or make a really big, long double album, and you'll get away with people will be more lenient with what you put on it.
Because it gives the albums more latitude to have those fillers, like a White Album, like
or even The Wall.
Yeah,
the Wall has shit that sucks.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, I would say, is maybe one of the most consistent double albums where I'm undecided if I like two better than one.
Yeah.
I have not been listening.
It is a great record.
I have not been listening to a lot of Pumpkins lately, but I feel like the last couple episodes they've come up a lot because Body Snatchers in particular reminded me a lot of like Jelly Belly.
Jelly Belly's my favorite song
ever of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
awesome because it's them when they're being metal, but it's really melodic.
Yes, and so but then like just real quick on that wonderful double album. Yes, Billy Corgan was on Alex Jones, which no, I did not know until you told me. But like Jimmy Chamberlain, Darcy Retzky, James Iha, and Billy Corgan, I want to mention all four members of that band were on fucking fire in that period. And yes, Billy Corgan was the leader of the band. Yes, he sounds like a jerk to have worked with.
He's also claimed to have done like all the guitar and bass parts on the album.
Which I believe.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately Darcy was struggling with addiction issues at that time.
Yeah.
Regardless, whatever the lore around it, I don't know which album of 1 and 2 I think is better. I think on The Wall, I think disc 1 is decidedly better. So all that to say, though, I think that you get a certain latitude with like, oh, some of these are throwaways, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I think it would maybe make Hail the Thief less divisive. I don't know why we're focusing so much on this now. All that to say, I want to keep In Rainbows tight. I don't want them to redo it. I don't want to go back in time and have been in control. I just think that this is a fun experiment and not one that I would engage in regularly otherwise.
Yeah, and I will say that in like, Earth 2, where this was In Rainbows, I think this still becomes a top tier Radiohead album for me with the version of it you have laid out. And then if disc 2 has the songs that you left off, I'm still going, oh my God, all the songs they were recording around this time are great. So I enjoy it. I enjoy thinking about your alternate In Rainbows. Now, it's about 4:30. Do we have time to go through some alternates?
Yeah.
We won't listen to all of these, but there's just a couple of things. Now, Zach, I can't remember if I sent this to you already or not. I hope I didn't, and I hope that you're about to hear it for the first time here. As you know, Nude, which is on track 3 on In Rainbows, is one of the songs that they had kicking around for the longest. And we hear them playing it a little bit on the OK Computer tour as a sound check.
That's the only other version I've ever heard.
Okay, great. So there is a studio version from the OK Computer sessions.
Cool.
I found this on YouTube. The reason you and I have not heard it is it has only been released on the cassette tape version of OK Not OK.
Wow.
And then somebody ripped it to YouTube. And this is that early version of Nude. And I'll just let it speak for itself before we talk about it. Unfortunately, we don't have time to listen to the whole song. It's almost 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll play about a minute of it, and then we'll talk about it.
No, this is Nude, not Say It Ain't So.
It's a rock band, right? Already you can tell. It almost sounds to me like a Rolling Stones early 70s arrangement. Ooh.
Love what Tom did with his voice there.
So yeah,
what is that?
That's
graphic? That is
it's
fucking cool.
Drawing of Flea and Tom York on this video for some reason. So Johnny is playing the Hammond organ, which really drives the song.
Okay, so we have a lyrical change. Okay, so normally where there'd be the pick rake, that's gone.
Yeah, they're playing it as
I
like
love this.
So Zach's making a lot of like I'm in almost orgasmic faces. I think this is awesome.
Yeah, it's so.
Oh, and then I think different lyrics here too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna fade it out and
Ed, that's
so yeah, just give me
reference,
give me your reactions. I mean, I could tell it's such a great song and it remains a great song. But what do you think about this version?
Well, I mean, I invoked Sadie, so I would say that has maybe some bands that I think in the same way Pinkerton pushed Weezer forward in a way. I think that sounds 90s, but like more ahead of like what I know of like some of what was really popular in the 90s. Like it would have pushed music and pop forward a little bit, just as Radiohead, of course, did. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So like it still sounds more in its era, and I think the refined to perfection of a beautiful Disney love song that is a Radiohead song is the way to go. I loved that. I loved it.
I love it too. I mean, to me, it's like it's just one of their songs that's such a perfect song that they could play it that way. They could play it with Tom solo on a piano.
Yeah.
They could play it as an acoustic song, and it's gonna probably move me close to tears, whatever way they play it. I feel like it's crazy that wasn't on OK Computer. I think it's absolutely as good as everything on the album. Not crazy. They made creative decisions for the album to have the flow it has, and I'm not saying they should have changed that, but it's just kind of like, wow, that's something they decided to leave off the album is crazy. And yet, even though if it was on OK Computer like that, I would be like, oh, this is up there with my favorite songs on the album. I'm so glad they didn't put it on.
Yeah.
Because it's such a fucking great song that they needed another 10 years to realize the version of it that is, easily in their top 10 songs ever.
Yeah.
For me. And
so
I know
unique.
probably in your top 5 for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, go listen to that whole thing when you get the chance. It gets pretty heavy by the end when it gets to the ooh. By then it's like fully distorted guitars, everything like that. This per the griping of our friend of the show, Sean Perrin, about how disappointed he was in the studio version of Videotape. Now, Sean, this is actually directly to you. I'm calling bullshit a little bit because you were saying that it was like such a completely different song when they played it live. Now, you would know better than me. You've seen the band 10 times. And so I don't mean to tell you your story, but I listened to a lot of different live versions, and I gotta say, to me, it sounds pretty similar to how it is on the album. Zach, what do you say about this?
Well, are we going to the Bonnaroo?
I picked the one that I could find on YouTube that was the most kind of rockin'. Was the 2006 Bonnaroo version.
I think that's the one he's referring to.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Often considered the best Radiohead live show of all time. So I'll play like 30 seconds of the beginning, and then I'm just going to skip way to the end when it's in Crazy Jam Town. And
now I have seen this one, so yeah, I'm
and
excited.
so here we go. Different piano part. Started off pretty cool to get to see this song a year before it comes out on an album. Okay, there's a different harmony happening here. It sounds like Ed has a loop that he's harmonizing with Tom's guitar part to me.
When I'm at the pearly gate.
But not dissimilar, so I'm going to skip to the end.
Yeah,
but already
please.
I am kind of Sean. I'm already eating my words. This is already different than the studio version, so fine, you were right. But why don't you like the studio version, Sean? Why? So I'm going to skip to like 4 minutes in, 3 minutes in.
This is so fucking cool. And I prefer it to the album version.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool.
But
it
I mean,
puts it like in like Jigsaw territory.
but I prefer it for a way to play the song live.
Right.
But I prefer ending the album on a way that's different than the rest of the album.
Oh.
But this is awesome. This is so
And
awesome.
it reminds me of Jigsaw. I'll stand, I'll stand, I'll stand. Like,
But I like
maybe they
that-
blended the two songs.
Maybe. I mean, I will die on the hill of like
Yeah.
that it's appropriate to end it with the album with a non-guitar driven song.
Oh,
But this is awesome.
This is so cool.
And I would love to see it played like this live.
Well, we've talked about.
And I'm going to
in-
skip even
yeah.
further ahead just because. Okay, hold on. That's too far. So this is like basically how they're ending it. So sorry, you were saying that's live videotape 2006, the better version. according
Yeah,
to
no,
Zach
I mean,
and Sean.
I love it, and I love what they did with it, and who knows? No, I don't have much to add.
Yeah, so that's what that sounds like. I wanted to play a little bit of the solo track, "Pulled Apart by Horses," because this is what Tom brought to the band in their early rehearsals, and ends up turning into Reckoner, and then later in 2009 he goes back and releases it as this. But I just think it's just interesting to hear a little bit.
Love this song. It's weird. I feel like I just heard it somewhere.
I don't get the joke you're making. Where did you-
Walker and I went to this show by the band. The
Oh yeah, they
Smile.
played this,
And this was their encore to their encore. This was the last song.
Yeah, I did not realize that at the time, and I need to go back. And I'm really hoping that,
Some footage on YouTube from the show. we were at.
that's non-cell phone because they've been professionally filming this tour. So
And I don't know if you've read reviews of the show we were at. That was deemed to be in the top 3 of the entire tour.
I believe that.
It was
So I mean,
not the same
sounds
song.
nothing
Yeah.
like Reckoner, but the drum
vocal-
rhythm sounds like Reckoner.
Well, where I hear it too is the sort of like listeners. There's a really cool YouTube video. I can't remember the name of the channel. Maybe we'll put it in the notes. The way Tom interacts with his microphone, like literally
He puts it up his butt, right?
Yes. No, the way he will back away and move around it, and how close. And I mean, that's something a singer.
Oh,
will
like his
cultivate.
mic technique.
Thank you. His mic technique has a lot to do with achieving a certain sound without vocal manipulation, which I think just goes to show what a pro the fucking guy is. It's incredible.
So the last 2 things we have would be some From the Basement stuff of songs we just listened to. Do you want to hear a little bit of Bangers and Mash?
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm really excited for you to. Have you watched this yet?
I do not believe I have. So time to finally see if you're telling the truth about Tom playing the drums.
Yes, and
Chicken licking.
Oh.
Lucy, Lucy. Have you got your flying goggles, man?
Does he sing while he's drumming?
Goggles.
yeah,
Can you start off and I'll see if I can remember it? Amateur hour.
No, he's having a lot of fun.
I know.
Sure as shit. There he is drumming.
And I'm not remembering wrongly, right? Phil's drumming too, right?
Yep.
What if Phil bites him, and that's why every time he says, "You bit me"? Look how much fun he's having.
Now, this is... I'm not going to say what I think of Tom's hair in this video, But this is reminding me, I think at some point we should cover a top 10 of Tom's hair.
Oh, yeah. So it's just cool.
It is cool. I mean,
And we got Johnny, like, throwback to the 90s. Thank God Kailani is not here to be
is this
watching
just the three of them playing? I don't see Colin or Ed anywhere.
I think so, because I think this is, like, maybe the other...
Oh, no, there's Ed.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretending to strum.
Yeah. Good job, mates. You're doing such a good job. And I hear
still no
Colin,
sign of Colin.
Johnny having his fun.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see why watching this gives you a bigger appreciation for the song, because I feel it now. Also, you know, I should just never underestimate Tom York, because being able to, having just seen him live, the stuff he can sing over when he's playing bass is incredibly impressive. And the fact that he can drum and sing is also incredibly impressive, because I know that
this is not a rhythmically easy song.
Yeah, and those just aren't his first instruments.
No.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
I was
that.
just really excited to watch that.
Super cool.
You know.
Look that up. Radiohead, Bangers and Mash from the Basement. Ed has a big old smile on his face. And,
hey, what a great band this is.
This I'm very man, I love this band. Now I'm very excited for this Up on the Ladder live. This is from 2002.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this is it.
Tom just singing on this one, it looks like.
So you can hear
Oh, yeah, sure.
it's just not subtle. This may as well have been off the Bends.
That's really interesting to hear where it started from.
And I'm not trying to say I hate this.
No, the melody's the same, but yeah, there's
it's
just...
not an interesting song. Well, okay.
It's a very
better than any
rudimentary
song.
guitar part.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Turned into some... I mean, as much as I said I would like to hear it as more of a full band thing, it definitely turned into a much more interesting song.
Right.
You know, that's all I brought. Was there anything that we missed that you wanted to play? Or?
No, that's in Rainbows.
Yeah.
That's in Rainbows in its entirety.
Should we talk about it for one more week?
No, but should we? So we wrapped up, one of the creative peaks of a band that, by my count, have had 3. We've talked about that I love Amnesiac and Hail to the Thief at different points were my favorites. But what I think is I'm sure it's debatable, but amongst Radiohead fans, and I think maybe like music journalists or something like that, they would identify OK Computer, Kid A, and In Rainbows as events in music and in culture that had an impact beyond people who only liked Radiohead. Whether it was Pay What You Want, whether it was closing out the 90s with something as innovative as OK Computer, whether it was starting off the 21st century with something that had all these illusions. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Will this happen again? I don't know. Like, we're not going to play coy and try and be so funny to act like the King of Limbs. We're going to have as much to say, or we'll be a 3-episode discovery. What I'm really excited about is I have listened to both of the next 2 albums quite a lot. And I'm just really excited to see what we can glean from it. I'm really excited to wrap up this period. And I just found so many new things to like and love and talk about with you. And I'm really looking forward to what's next.
Me too. I think that it's interesting because Radiohead at no point in their career have been an obscure band. I wonder if it's just self-centeredness that I see this as the most visible Radiohead ever was.
Mm-hmm.
That might have to do with who I was hanging out with, the age I was, and that I was the most into Radiohead at the time.
YouTube, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way to quantify it, but I don't think Radiohead was ever this famous before or after this period.
Agreed.
And you identified it as one of their creative peaks. I agree with that. I think it was one of 3 times the band reinvented their sound and image. And I am comfortable saying that up to this point, with 2 studio albums left in their discography, I will also say that, in my opinion, this is the last time Radiohead reinvented themselves. Now, that does not mean that it is downhill from here. It just means that this was the beginning of a very different era for the band that I think gets us up eventually to present day, and then
Present tense,
if you will. And listeners, you'll get that in a few episodes from now.
in 15 weeks.
Yeah, because we are continuing to stall because we don't want to only do 2 more episodes, and hopefully that's good news for you. But at this point, the next reinvention is a new band called The Smile. And so I'm excited that we got to cover this so exhaustively, and I'm excited about what's to come with the band. But we're in what I would call the final era.
Yeah, the Twilight.
Yeah, and we're not just saying that because 15 Step was in the movie Twilight.
No, and I guess I am trying to be a little salesy because listeners, like, I think Walker and I have talked amongst each other. We've talked on air, somewhat cheekily, about this being like the only or the best Radiohead podcast. Obviously, now having had Sean Perrin on and all that, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt, we are being cheeky. Stick with us, because I don't know too many people that claim King of Limbs to be like something that they want to just talk about for hours on end. I might be wrong on that. I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to concluding this project. Radiohead remain my favorite band, but I'm just so excited. I talked about how I was a little bit baffled at how to approach studying For In Rainbows. I don't feel that way about King of Limbs, because the way I'm going to study it is listening to it more than I ever have.
I could not be more excited about King of Limbs for that very reason. This is the blindest I'll have gone in. And I'm so excited to, similarly to with Hail to the Thief, do my best to forget everything I think I know about that record and just really, really meet it on its own merits. But, Zach, we have other stuff to get to before that happens.
I know we got a fun guest.
Yeah, we have a guest, and let's just say next week is going to be a little different. I won't say exactly what we're doing, but I will say that this podcast is going to continue forever.
Let me just cough real quick. All right, sorry.
Yeah. Listeners, hopefully that's enough of a clue for you what we're going to get into next week if you want to go ahead and do your homework. In the meantime, Zach, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for doing this podcast with me, and thank you, listeners, for listening. We will see you next week. I am Walker Glenn.
I'm Zach Glenn.
Bye. Idiotalk is a Glenn Brothers production. Get in touch with us at idiotalk.podcast@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at idiotalk.podcast. Thanks for listening to